another loss at locals, and 5 moral techs to get rid of. Might as well start doing it now. I swear to God. There is nothing that's gonna make me better, okay? Whoa, 100 subscribers. Hallelujah. Hey guys, Quantum here. Oh my god, I really need a haircut. And welcome to a very special edition of Why They Don't See Play. This right here, of course, is the segment of my channel where we discuss cards in particular, whether they're from an archetype or just in the game in general, on why they don't see play. And in this very special 100 subscriber edition, I decided to look at not 1, not 2, but 4. That's right, 4. 4 cards in the game that are not seeing as much play. Those cards are Bottomless Trap Hole, Compulse Activation Device, Torrential Tribute, and Solemn Warning. Okay, so one of the main things that these 4 cards have in common is that about a year and a half ago, back in mid to late 2013, Bottomless, Torrential, Compulse, and Solemn Warning, all of them were semi-limited. So back then, if you weren't running at least 2 copies of each of these cards, that was inexcusable. Now, my memory might be a little foggy at this point, so lol. This was basically around the time when wind-up format was basically dominating. Wind-up format back then was like Burning Abyss right now. So you can imagine why we had to run 2 copies of all these. You could even make the argument that Konami even wanted us to combat wind-up. Skip to one more ban list later, and all these cards got the axe, and now they're all limited to 1. Fast forward to right now. Where are they? We all know the effects, so I'm going to go over this briefly. Bottomless Trap Hole destroys and removes from play a monster that was summoned, regardless of however it was summoned, that's 1500 or more attack points. So not only does it destroy the monster you're having trouble with once it's summoned to the field, but it basically removes it from the game, basically taking care of your problem entirely. Next we have Solemn Warning. At the cost of 2000 of your own life points, you are able to negate the summon and destroy the summon of any monster in particular, no matter its attack points. No matter the summon, even. Fun fact, and try to wrap your minds around this one, because even I'm having trouble believing it. We used to run, when this card was at 2, we used to run 1 Solemn Judgment as well. So, as you can see, the games were pretty different back then. Giving up so much life points just for 1 little summon to get rid of it and... But in all seriousness, Solemn Warning was the shit back then. Like, running 2 was necessary. Imagine it this way. You're starting off the game with 8,000 life points. Then you activate Warning, so that's 6,000 that you have left. Then you activate another Warning, then you have 4,000. Cut that in half with Judgment and you're down to 2,000. And this is before Upstart started seeing a whole lot more play. So yeah, your opponent was not giving you, at the time, so much life points to spare. Then we have Torrential Tribute. A really old school card. You wouldn't imagine this being on the list. Still, running 2 of these back then, it was like you could barely summon anything. Upon summoning and activating this card, you can just destroy the entire field. A dark hole during either player's turn. And then lastly, we got Compulse. I'll admit, back then, I was really hesitant to running Compulse. I was not really into bouncing cards back to the hand. I was more like just destroying them, you know, getting rid of the problem. Like, there was no need. I saw no need to bounce them back to the hand just so the opponent could reuse them again. Just like the others, back then, running 2 copies could barely let you summon anything. Okay, enough talking of the past. Let's talk about the now. The reason why I'm saying that this is a special edition of the Why They Don't See Play series is because these cards in particular are not necessarily gone from the game. No, in fact, they're actually just seeing less play. These are really old school cards. They've been around like forever. The fact that they've been played this long is really impressive. But if you look at the top decks right now, such as the Talon Knights, Burning Abyss, Shadows, Cleaforts, and quite possibly from the new set that's going to be coming out, such as Infernoids, Necros, which don't even need back row, and quite possibly even Heroes probably won't even need these cards. Anything that's topping, anything that's being hyped, or if it's just not Rogue, don't really need these cards anymore. Rogue decks seem to be the only decks that can utilize these cards because summoning is what they're all about. Supporting themselves in order to stay in the game is all that matters to them. stopping the opponent from doing anything more, well, these cards are the only other pieces of support they have. Because a lot of rogue decks don't have that much support, and if they do, that doesn't mean that it's good support. Okay, let's go back to Bottomless for a second, and let's take a look at the big four. You can still use this on cliff forts, because honestly, it doesn't even matter. They don't benefit off of having their monsters banished. Once they flip that vanities, you gotta get rid of that thing, otherwise you're gone too. And if you played the deck, you should already know by now that very little of their stuff ever gets sent to the grave. No matter how they're summoned, even if it's just more than one, when they're pendulum summoned, you can still destroy and then banish them. But it still does not matter. Monsters shouldn't have to be a problem for you to worry about. I mean, they're already summoned. Once they're already normal summoned, they're just 1800 beaters. Not to mention the fact that you got the scout staring at you in the face. Because yeah, that's your main concern over here. Because that's how they get their monsters. They search them out. You can still use Bottomless Trap Hole on the Shaddolls as well, but honestly, how are you gonna do that? Better yet, how often are you gonna do that? A good majority of them are gonna be face down, so let's not forget that Winda can't be destroyed by card effects. Construct will still allow its graveyard effects and search ability to still go through. In any other case scenario, you still got the El Shaddai fusion that will have them escape it. Satella Knights, you're better off pulling the rug. No, I'm not even joking. You're better off playing pulling the rug. Don't even think about Burning Abyss. I mean, what can you bottomless in Burning Abyss? Virgil, really? As overrated I think Burning Abyss are, they're not stupid. Dante's 1000, he can't be bottomless. Virgil on the other hand. But with Bottomless at 1, Fire Lake is still at 3, so good luck with that. Counter trap cards cannot be negated unless by other counter trap cards. Now, that does not stop from natural effects to occur. This may be the only card that can actually kill cliff forts. You may stop effects occurring with Satella Knights as well, but you're giving up 2,000 life points. You can do the same thing with this card with Satella Knights. You can stop them from activating their effects upon summon. But again, you're better off pulling the rug. Burning Abyss, that one's a little tricky. Because like Shaddolls, again, graveyard effects. However, if you're going to be stopping Shaddolls as well as Burning Abyss, then you're better off pushing this one to the side just to swap it out for a Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. This card does not stop any of these guys. At best, you are lucky to get rid of a Winda. Let's talk about Yang Zings for a second. Imagine a deck where it was nothing but hands. You can kill as many of the Yang Zings as you want, so yeah, go ahead and Torrential the entire field. I'm sure you'll be able to attack directly. Torrential those Shaddolls, I'm sure nobody benefits off of that. Torrential the Tellarknights, I'm sure nothing will go off. Torrential the Cliff Forts, I'm sure your problem will be taken care of. So as you guys can see, we have a lot of floaters here. In this format, we're basically benefiting off of anything that destroys our field. So please, Torrential me, I'm sure I won't survive in 2 turns to finish you off. Hat's dead now, trust me, I know. But that doesn't stop the hands from seeing play either. Being a looping engine, it still sees play, and it's splashable in every other deck. Even as side deck cards, they're still a threat. So yeah, from a competitive standpoint, these cards are not really helping anybody out. Well, maybe your opponent, but you guys know what I mean. So yeah, if you guys are running these cards, they're not really doing you that much of a favor. You're giving up 2,000 life points to negate a summon, even though it's just going to backfire on you and leaving you wide open with life points even less than you had before. Bottomless stops nothing. Compulse stops nothing. Torrential just makes your opponent laugh at you. While they're not useless, at least not completely useless, there is something that makes them seem really obsolete. With the exception of Compulse, because, like I said, you're lucky to Compulse a Winda. Getting rid of Winda is what the rest of these cards cannot do. The one card that makes the rest of these guys look obsolete, which is why you're running 3 copies of, is Vanity's Emptiness. This overpraised comment from God knows when started seeing so much more play last format. And you know what? Why shouldn't it? Again, not calling Torrential, Bottomless, Warning, or Compulse shit. Okay, they're anything but. But ask yourself, from a competitive standpoint, what would you guys rather do? Are you just gonna stand by while more Burning Abyss cards keep special summoning themselves? Do you really want Winda to hit the field just so you could Compulse it? No, fuck that, prevent it from happening! Well, Cleaveforge is still the strongest deck out there so far, at least in my opinion. You might put a stop to them from OTKing you. Vanities basically says, while it doesn't take care of the problem like Bottomless, nor does it prevent the summoning from being complete like Warning, nor does it complete every last bit of a problem that your opponent has on the field, it holds out, meaning that it stalls your opponent long enough for you to make a comeback. So yeah, in that regard, Vanities surpasses all these cards, which is why 3 copies are being mained in almost every deck. And that right there, guys, is why Bottomless, Torrential, Compulse, and Warning are starting to see less play, and why Vanities is seeing a whole lot more play. Or why it just saw play in general, period. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I know this doesn't seem like, much to many, but to me it means so much more than just 100. So let's hope we can continue this, and let's hope I can continue on so we can go for 100 more. And if you have any suggestions for any more Why They Don't See plays for the future, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Lights out.